Coach, you said it in your opening remarks, the timing of life, this is the time, it's the right time. Again, expound on why McNeese, why now for Wade. You had obviously other options, but why this university or why this program now?
I think there's three main reasons. One, this facility, this area, supports this. I mean, one of the things that stood out to me was we came in 8th place and we led the league in attendance. And I mean, that shows that there's major support here. And, we've got to galvanize that support and earn that support by how we play and how we interact in the community. But I think number one's the community support. Number two is the administrative support. I mean, when you sit down and you meet with Dr. Burkell and with Dr. Roos and with Coach Schroyer and with Miss Bridget and I mean, you sit down and meet with them. I mean, there's a passion these people have for McNeese and for Southwest Louisiana, and I mean, you can't fake that. There's nothing fraudulent about that. And so, when you have that, when you've got community support, then you've got some administrative support, and then you look around and, almost every other sport wins at a really high level relative to where we are. And why can't we do that? We have everything in place to do it. It's time to make it happen. It's the league's changed in the last couple years. We host the league tournament. I mean, there's a lot of positives here that we can take advantage of. But I think those are the three, main reasons. I mean, I think there's unbelievable level of support, and then there's an unbelievable access for us to win. And to win at a high level and to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time in over 20 years. I mean, part of it is, on a larger level is, you want to go somewhere where you make an impact. Some stuff's, I like to build stuff. If you look at, I tried to keep, I was at VCU and I took over for the most successful coach in the program's history. Like, that's hard to keep it going. Like, I like to build stuff, and this is something that needs we need a little work. We need a little work. We need a lot of work. So that intrigued me to be somewhere where I trust in the people, I know the people, I love the area, I love the state, and where we got an opportunity to build something special.
You were mentioning the fact that you have to rebuild yourself as well as the program. How do you about that? And what did you learn in the last year, and what did you miss?
Well, I was doing some work in the NBA the last year, so I learned quite a bit about there's going to be some lessons that I learned that I can certainly take with us here in terms of some different things offensively, some different things with my practice structure. There's a lot of stuff that I learned basketball-wise. It's the first time in 20 years I hadn't been a part of a team. I miss having a team. I miss being around the student athletes every day. I miss being in the battles. Getting the team to the floor, preparing a team. I miss being with my staff. All that stuff, I really miss. And sometimes, I always say appreciation's the currency of success. I always try to stay unbelievably appreciative of everything. But sometimes, you got to have something taken away from you before you appreciate it at as high a level as you need to appreciate it. And I think I have a much greater appreciation for the opportunity and the ability to coach college basketball, and I'm looking forward to using a lot of the stuff that I learned in this off time to be even better and to make McNeese even better.
Well, you told me in December you were going to be coaching somewhere next season. When did
you have a good memory, Sheldon?
So do you. But you were pretty confident that day I saw you. And when did you know it was really going to happen? That you were going to get something for next year?
I felt pretty confident. I didn't know where. I didn't know what opportunities were going to present themselves. But I'd talked to some people in the industry and had a pretty good sense that there would be some interest, and I certainly wanted to get back and to get back into coaching. And so I just had a good, I'm a positive person by nature. I'm glass half full, and I look forward to look forward to things. I just felt like that. I felt like the timing was going to be right, this year. That was kind of after the Sean Miller ruling and some of that sort of stuff. I just felt like the timing would be right this year, and luckily it was.
What was the message to? Go ahead.
What was your message for the team when you met with them?
Can you take your question?
Yeah, he does.
I just talked about, really what I talked about was our standards. Let me start by saying this. I mean, I've known Coach Aiken a long time. I've known him since he was the head coach at Belhaven University. We'd go have lunch when I was in town recruiting kids at UT Chattanooga when he was at Belhaven. He's a friend of mine. We're going to eat this week together. Some of what happened here, some tough luck, some injuries, some of the transfers didn't really pan out. I think the high school kids have been pretty good, but when you get in that portal, like, you got to hit on that portal, and we hadn't panned out. But having said that, I don't think anywhere you take over, there's obviously issues because I'm here. My message was our standards aren't good enough across the board. I mean, everybody watches film, everybody practices, everybody gets in the cold tubs, everybody does that, but it's the standard at which you do that. Are you a foot short of the line? Do you touch the line, or do you cross the line? Well, we're going to cross the line. We're going to be a foot over the line because other teams in our league are going to touch the line, and the bad teams in our league are going to be short of the line. And so it's the standard with which you do all of those things. So we really talked about our standards and how the standards were going to be changed and how the standards were going to be raised and what the expectations were, moving forward within the program. That was my main message, is that the standards are changing. I think my message to the team's a microcosm of, I don't want to speak for Heath, but we're trying to change the standards here at McNeese. We are McNeese. It's not, we're just lowly old McNeese sitting over here in Lake Charles. I mean, we're some good people that are going to win and can really win in the Southland. And I think we need to change. We need to all change our standards. Basketball program on down.
Going off that, one of the things we talked to Heath about on Wednesday was Southland Conference Tournament is here for at least the next 3 years. Coming into this, do you feel a little pressure to succeed within the next 3 years? I know you said immediately, but is there a little pressure with that?
Pressure. It's a great opportunity. I mean, pressure's a privilege. If you ain't got any pressure on you, it's not worth doing. I mean, look, that's part of the reason I took the job. Look, if we come in the top 2 in this league, which I expect to compete at the top of this league, if you can get in the top to the league, you may win it one year, you may have some ball bounce the wrong way a couple years, but if you be in the top 2 in the league, you have a double bye to the semifinals. You got to win 2 games on your home court to go to the NCAA tournament. Now, name me a place that's not in a Power 6 conference that has that good of a setup. Is there one? Because I talked to some other schools and I couldn't find one. You got to win 3 games on a neutral court. You got to win. It's as good as it gets. So, if you're talking about access to the NCAA tournament and you're not in a multi-bid league, there were 5 bids given out yesterday to teams that weren't in a power conference, right? You're an Alabama guy, right? Huh? So, yeah, do my research. All right. So Alabama's had a great year. They're power. There's 5 teams that weren't in a power conference. 31 of the 36. So the whole thing is, there's five that are hoping to get an at-large, or if you look at it another way, there's 32 that are looking, or 31 that are looking to get an automatic bid, right? All right, of those automatic bids, you take out those top 6 leagues, you got 25 fighting for an automatic bid. I like my odds a lot more on those 25 than I do on that 5. And I like it a lot more when you host your own tournament. And I like it a lot more when we're going to engage this fan base, engage this community, and we're going to have this place. We're going to have people hanging from the rafters when we're playing in the semifinals and we're playing for the championship. And that's now. It's not going to. I expect it to happen quickly. Can I tell you how quickly? I don't know. But I think it's an unbelievable opportunity. We have everything lined up to be successful, and it's my job to be the conduit to bring all that together. The team, everything. Because I want my legacy here to be that, we got the tournament for another 10 years because, we sold it out. The league's making money. Everybody's happy. Teams we're beating may not be happy, but what else are they going to do? We're in the middle of the league. I mean, I looked at everything when I looked at this job. The furthest bus trip's 5.5 hours. I mean, we're in the middle of the league, so we can get everywhere in a decent amount of time. You got teams going from New Orleans to Corpus Christi. That ain't no fun. Natchitoches to Corpus Christi, Natchitoches to Incarnate Word in San Antonio. I mean, so like we have everything we need here to win. I'm sorry I gave you a long answer, but
You give him the playbook?
I'm sorry?
Did you give him the playbook there?
We had a couple
Is that the sale?
conversations.
Did the Sean Miller ruling kind of give you confidence that you'll be coaching the whole year, or do you have any idea what that's going to look like?
look, I can't really touch on the process because it's still ongoing. I will say, when you look at the totality of some of the other rulings thus far, I think with the the university did an unbelievable amount of due diligence, unbelievable amount, meeting with attorneys, all sorts of folks. I think they're, you never know what's going to happen, and we can't comment because it's ongoing. But certainly, I think we're, we're excited about the future here and feel good about things moving forward.
Coach, you said you like to rebuild. That's the thing that you kind of enjoy the most of all, and you did that at LSU fairly quickly. What's the biggest challenge when you come into a program you have to rebuild it?
Well, there's a few. The more challenge, you got to find guys that won't come do it with you. Most people it's like anybody. Most people like to go to a home that's already built. Most people don't like to lay the foundation and put the walls up and put the insulation in and do all that. You got to find the right guys that are willing to do that with you. And so, we're going to be aggressive in pursuing guys that are able to do that and are willing to do that. And then what I talked about earlier, you got to set your standards, and then you've got to get everybody moving in the same direction with those standards. And then, I mentioned it in there, but we're going to work our players hard. There's a certain level of work and work ethic that comes with all of this, and I feel like part of the payoff for that is we got to get the fans engaged, we got to get the students engaged, so our players can see that their hard work is rewarded and people appreciate it. And so that's my job when I'm working the players, to also make sure we engage the fans, engage the community, and get everybody going. We won a lot of games at LSU, but I'm as proud of how we engaged the students and how we got that. That took a monumental amount of work, and the guy who was the architect of all that is coming with me to McNeese here. Nelson Hernandez will be one of my. He was the architect of the whole deal there. He's got the formula, he's got the playbook on how to do that, and we're gonna get out there and do what we do. But getting everybody to come together and believe when there's not a whole lot to believe in is basically what I'm saying. You can't see the finished product yet, but we're gonna get there. And we're going to get there quickly, and you got to get everybody on board and believing in that.
Coach, to get there quickly, you're going to have to use the portal. And you mentioned earlier about the problems with working the portal. What's your secret sauce on working the portal?
Well, we look at the analytics on stuff. I got my analytics spreadsheet this morning on all the portal kids that are in so far, and I know what a good Southland player looks like analytically. I know what the numbers look like, and we're going to go find them. First you got to find them, and then you've got to find ones that have connections to and want to come. And so, we're going to be aggressive in the portal. We're going to be, we're going to see who wants to stay, and see who we've got to build around. Build around here. Certainly our kids here have the opportunity to go in the portal, and we're not going to hold anybody back from going in the portal. I believe in the free market.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in that wholeheartedly. So we'll support anybody who goes in the portal here, but we're going to be aggressive in finding guys in the portal that fit what we want to do, and really, I think we've touched on it a couple times, but I'm looking for guys that want a rebirth of their basketball career too. I'm trying to rebirth my coaching career. We're trying to rebirth this area. We're trying to rebirth our basketball program. There's some guys out there that have an edge to them and want to prove something and need a place to rebuild and rebirth their career. And we're going to be partial towards those kids if their numbers are right.
Right.
We'll get to you, Sheldon. We'll get to you.
We've
He's
talked
just
a
been
lot
in his
of-
LSU press conference where he just bullies everybody because he's the beat writer.
We've all talked.
We
about
love him now, and I
in the
love him.
past, the ultimate goal of this. How does getting someone like a Will Wade get you closer to FBS?
I think it's a great question, Jim. I think that having Coach Wade here, I think obviously it provides us an opportunity to be relevant regionally and also nationally. And I think that I've made no bones about it from the start. I mean, our goal as an institution is eventually to have an opportunity to play FBS football. But make no mistake about it, your two revenue sports are football and basketball, and we needed to fix basketball. It needed to be fixed, and like I said earlier today, there's not a better person or a better coach that's a better fit for this program right now, this university, and this community than Coach Wade.
And, ask Heath, Dr. Burkell talked about due diligence, and Will just said it. Did you reach out to the NCAA in any way, or you or your representatives check with them, and are you worried about anything that may come down the pipe?
Well, I can't really go into great detail, but I will tell you this, that when Coach says due diligence, I mean, I and my committee, we did an extreme amount of due diligence. I'm confident that I'm confident that where we are, and I believe in Coach, and I believe in the process. And obviously, we can't comment completely about the process, but I did an unbelievable amount of due diligence, and I'm very confident and very, very excited that Coach Wade is our coach.
How much did Heath, being a former basketball coach and someone that you knew in coaching circles, how much did that make this process easier and made you maybe feel more comfortable coaching?
Very much. I mean, look at Heath. You look at, Coach Martin's back there. I mean, we have two former coaches at the top of the athletic department. And so, I have a comfort level with Heath. We've known each other a while. But no, I mean, that made a big difference. You want to have a comfort level and know what you're walking into. And he told me the good, bad, and the ugly. He did undersell how beautiful this place is. I mean, it's incredible. But I mean, he told me, he said, look, not everything's perfect. We gotta, this isn't just, rotate the tires. We're gonna have to drop the transmission and, build a new car here. But, I know I've got a willing partner to do it. And I know at the university level, I got a university. I mean, you don't commit to an arena like this if you're not big time committed to being good in men's basketball. You don't commit to an arena like this. You don't commit to hosting. I mean, I know it's great. We talked about hosting the tournament. That's a lot of work. It's a pain. I mean, that's a ton of work. It's a ton of work. Talked to Heath one day. He was in Dallas meeting with the conference office to go through. I'm like, what are you up there for? Oh, I go through the conference tournament stuff for 2 days. I mean, it's a ton of work. It's work that takes away from McNeese to put on a conference tournament. Like, so you don't have a facility like this. You don't put on a tournament like this and do the bidding and get the tournament and all that sort of stuff if you're not all in on basketball. And so that I look at people's actions, not what they tell me. Anybody can tell you whatever they want to tell you. I've heard a lot of recruiting pitches, but you got to back it up with what you got. And you got a former coach, who are in charge of this deal, who are the sport administrators, and you've got a beautiful facility and you host a conference tournament. All right. Like, the actions say that basketball is important here. Basketball needs to be very good here, and that we got to get this done.
Coach, you had people meet you at the airport. Obviously, a lot of people here today. What does that mean to you that clearly this community is bought into having you as their head coach?
I'm excited. I mean, that's exciting that we have some early buy-in. I mean, like I said, I'm going to be out in the community. I'll go talk to groups. I mean, we're going to be out there, out and about, pounding the pavement, selling tickets, selling the Platinum Club, getting these courtside seats. I mean, we're going to be pounding the pavement to make this happen, because we want to bring everybody with us. We want to bring everybody with us. We want to be a source of pride for this area, for this 5-parish area, for Lake Charles. Like, we want to be an unbelievable source of pride for our area. And, it shows that we've got a little bit of a head start. I think that's what it shows. Now, we can't relax because all right, we got a few more folks involved maybe than we have had in the past. But I mean, we've got to go full steam ahead and take that momentum and move forward. It's great having the people at the airport. I look forward to engaging the students as the semester winds down. Here and getting to know some of the students. But I certainly think we have a head start on that. But we're nowhere near where we need to be. We have a lot of room for growth to get 4,500 people in this place. We're going to do it. We're going to sit in here after a game next year, and y'all are going to go, golly, that was fun. That was fun, and we're going to do it. And but it's going to take a lot of hard work on everybody's part.
Coach, I just have one question for you. We talked yesterday.
Yeah, he was at the airport.
I was.
You were off. You were too busy watching Alabama whip A&M.
No comment.
Huh?
You said you did your research yesterday, though, and I wanted to ask you about what you thought about the teams in this conference and where the landscape of the league is.
I mean, certainly, Corpus Christi's the class of the league. I mean, if you I was, as we were kind of coming down the home stretch here, I watched a lot of the conference tournament pretty closely. I mean, you don't have to be John Wooden to tell that they're just in a little bit different league than everybody else. Just the way they prepared, the discipline of their team. They have really good players. I mean, you got a point guard as good as 11 was. You've got the best shooting guard in the league, and you've got the best four-man in the league. Okay, well, it's a pretty good combination to be really good, and you're extremely, extremely well coached. So I mean, I think they're the. I mean, and let's face it. I mean, they've got good resources as well. They play in a nice arena. Like Corpus Christi's a good area. I mean, they got some good stuff going as well. But I think they're certainly the class of the league. What Coach Gibson did at Northwestern this year was tremendous. I know he may be moving on, but they've got some really, really good players, some dynamic guards. I've known Coach Claunch at Nichols for a long time. They've been extremely consistent. They slipped a little bit this year, but they had won the regular season back-to-back years at Nichols, and they've been consistent. And I think they're redoing Stouffer down there a little bit, so they're making a commitment. Southeastern, Coach Kiefler, they've done a great job. I know Kyle Roan is associate head coach. Well, I mean, so they've been good. I watched Commerce; they're a tremendous offensive team. Number 4 is a good player. They had C.J. Roberts, who's in his 6th year, who's leaving. He was at Missouri at one time. So I mean, look, Lamar had the freshman of the year in the league, and Carnett Word had a really good wing, who was a good player. Houston Christian had the white kid who could really shoot at 13. I mean, so everybody's got some good. Did I leave anybody out?
He did his research.
Everybody's got some. I mean, everybody's got good players. I mean, everybody's got one or two good players. We need 4 or 5 good players. That's the difference in Corpus. They've just got more and better of them. I mean, you look at their bench and their depth. I mean, I'm not being facetious. I mean, they bring 23, the guard, off the bench. He'd start at guard at almost every other team in this league, and he's their 6th or 7th man. I mean, their point guard goes down. They just keep it moving, win the championship. I mean, it's an incredible amount of depth that they have, and that's what we've got to build.
What physical characteristics then do you look for to compete against those teams?
Well, I think I like to think big. We got to look 2 different ways. First, we got to be able to compete in our league, and then I want to compete in these non-league games. So it takes a little bit different to compete in our league. It's like having a golf bag, right? All right, you got to have you got to have a 60-degree wedge every once in a while. You may only need that in 3 of the non-league games, but you need your putter on every hole, unless you can chip in, get a hole in one or something. But I think we got to have a undersized, big kid that can undersized meaning from a power conference perspective. We got to have an undersized big kid that can command attention in the paint and catch the ball and finish around the rim. You got to have somebody who can make shots at the 4. Then we also probably need a big kid that can block shots and 6'10", 6'11", that looks like your typical power conference big kid. We need dynamic guards. I don't think height matters in this league. When you look at Johnson, the kid at New Orleans. Oh, I left out New Orleans. But you look at Johnson, the kid at New Orleans. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the country, 47%. He's 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". We need you need to surround those guys with good shooting. You need guards that can make plays off the bounce. You need guards that have some wiggle to them. So we'll find them. We'll go figure them out in the portal, and I'm excited to bring kids here on visits. They're going to be really surprised and really pleased with what they see. I'm very excited about that.
Does it make you even more confident knowing when you see what Coach Lutz did at Corpus Christi, takes over, turns them into a tournament team, Northwestern State makes a coaching change, they nearly make the tournament? Does that give you even more confidence coming to a place like this with the resources and the facility to go, hey, we get the right guys here, we can, like you said earlier, we can be a 23-win team?
At least.
At least.
I think I said at least.
Yeah,
All
at least.
right? Okay. I'm not trying to put a ceiling on our win total. Look, you guys, Sheldon, he covered me for 5 years. I don't lack for confidence. Not always right, but I'm always sure. All right? Look, I wouldn't come here if I didn't think we could win and win immediately. That's what we're here to do. That's what everybody expects. When you make an investment like McNeese has made in basketball, and part of the we're going to have the highest paid coaching staff in the Southland. All right? So, that's a huge investment. Huge investment. That stuff is, you don't do that, we're all expecting a quick turnaround.
Right.
That's the short answer. They are, I am, anybody who comes here to play for us is like, yes, we have confidence that we can do that.
You joked that
You're
Lauren.
the architect of, you and your team is the architect of really the biggest hire in McNeese athletic history when it comes to resume, past history, and the like. Your thoughts on that and where it stamps your name in regards to this athletic department?
Well, we have a great team, Bridget and Todd, helped me with this decision. And I said it earlier, this is a defining moment in McNeese basketball history, in my opinion. I also think it's a historical moment and a defining moment for the university. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be prouder. I know Coach really well. We've had some very, very frank and long conversations, and make sure you understand. Like, he had a lot of options. Okay, like Coach Wade chose to come here, and for him to choose us is something that I don't take lightly, and I couldn't be happier and I'm ecstatic for the people of Southwest Louisiana. I told Coach this. When I came here, I fell in love with this area, and when the hurricanes came, I fell in love again because of the pride and the grit that this community has and had. But you know what? This community has been through a lot. They've been kicked. They've been left behind in a lot of ways, and this is bigger than just McNeese basketball. This is about Southwest Louisiana and having Coach Wade here and him choosing to come to this community, to this institution. I think it's great for this community and the people in it, but I also think it's time for McNeese to reach its potential. It's time for McNeese to stop saying, oh, we're just McNeese. No, we are McNeese. And I think that from this day forward, people are going to know that we're here, and we're here to do something special, and we want to be relevant, and we will be relevant.
In the last 14 months, you've given out the first $1 million football contract. You're now the highest paid basketball. How much pressure are you under?
I don't pressure. I'm going to say the same thing the coach says. Listen, I stand behind it. If you want to be great, you have to swing the bat. You can never bunt your way to success. We're going to swing the bat, and I'm going to swing the bat. And I don't think you can cut your way to success. I think I'll go back to this. I think the formation of the McNeese Athletic Foundation has enabled us to do the things that we're trying to do. This community and the pride and the support they have and they've shown for McNeese Athletics allows us to do this. But again, it's another another time for us, Jim, to prove that we want to be relevant. And the old days of how McNeese used to do business and the expectations are over. It's a new day, it's a new time, and our expectations is to be elite.
And Coach, I guess, if nobody else has one last question. You said you watched the tournament. What do you think of Shoemate? Anybody else that you liked as far as players from McNeese?
I don't want to get into this. I'm not going to. I mean, I haven't coached them. What I see on a TV screen and what I see on a piece of paper, and I met them all for the first time last night. I don't want to get into specifics. I do think there's some good players on the team. I think there's some guys that we can build off of and build around. But until you get in the gym with them and coach them and work with them, it's hard to give a real honest assessment of what you think. I certainly think Christian played tremendous in the tournament. I think he has the tournament rebound record. I think he broke that. I mean, just phenomenal play. But like I said at the beginning, we want what's best for all these guys. And coaching changes are hard. And the assistants who recruited them, the staff who recruited them's not necessarily here. And so, if guys want to go in the portal, I'm in total support of that. And we're going to work with them and we're going to help them, wherever they want to go. And the guys who want to stay and be a part of this and want to build this and want to turn this thing around, we're going to support them too and help them and work with them as well. So I'm all about the free market and individual choice. And so, all those guys are going to make their individual choices, and then we'll maneuver the roster, accordingly.
Just, you mentioned that Lauren was ready to get you out of the house.
Go ahead.
When did she start making calls looking for something? How long did it take?
Oh, it didn't take long. You know that. It didn't take long. It's weird when you've been gone for so long and then you're there all the time. But I picked Caroline up from school almost every day, so I'll miss that. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back coaching, happy to be back having a team. It's exciting.
One more, anybody else?
I think I covered everything, Matt, didn't we?
Got it.
Happy to work with him. I worked with his brother. Now I get to work with him. I told him I got to be unbelievably nice to him because his brother's job at LSU, we had these games where we were mic'd up. So his brother, Mike, was the guy who had to listen to me as the mic'd up and had to tell the TV people what to cut out. I think Mike still has the tapes, so I got to be extremely nice to Matt here. So, all right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.